Welcome to the results video for UFC Fight Night in Seattle, Henry Cejudo vs Yadong. In this video we will find out which channels had the most and least correct picks, the highest and lowest return on investment, and are on the longest winning or losing streaks. But first we start with the totals and find out who were the best at predicting the winner of each fight, the Oddsmakers, the Tapology community or the YouTube prediction channels. There were a total of 12 fights on this card and I've tracked predictions from 100 channels. And they made a total of 1116 predictions for an average of 11.2 per channel. Out of those 1116 predictions, 713 were correct for 63.9% and 403 were incorrect for 36.1%. The favorite fighter in odds won 8 out of 11 times. We have 11 fights because one fight was exactly even in odds between Aston Vandervoort and Nikolai Veretinikov. So no favorite or underdog in that one. If you had placed a $100 bet on all favorite fighters on this card to win their fight, you would have lost $16 for a return on investment of minus 1.5%. On this card we had 3 underdogs in odds who won their fight. But because they were small underdogs, it didn't make up for all the other losses of the underdogs. And if you placed a $100 bet on all the underdogs on this card, you could have lost $320 for a minus 29.1% ROI. The favorite fighter in picks by the Tapology community won 8 out of 12 times. And if you had placed a $100 bet on all of them, you could have lost $63 for a minus 5.2% return on investment. The favorite in picks by the YouTube prediction channels were the same as the favorite in picks by the Tapology community, so the exact same result. For the least and most correct picks, we will only look at channels that made picks on at least 50% of all the fights, which is 6 for this card. Which channels had the least correct picks this week? In 6th place we have Baby Sharp MMA, The Section of Violence, LFG MMA picks, Richard picks, Shy Gut picks and the Finch chats. All 6 of them had 6 out of 12 correct for 50%. In 5th place our coach from Premium Picks and UF Consultant with 5 out of 11 correct for 45.5%. In 4th place is Raybox from Brostock MMA. He had 5 out of 12 correct for 41.7%. In 3rd place is Sansu Tips with 3 out of 8 correct for 47.5%. Paul from the Dogger Pass podcast is in 2nd place with 4 out of 11 for 36.4%. And the channel with the least correct picks this week is Fresh Start MMA. He had 4 out of 12 correct for 33.3%. Now let's look which channels had the most correct picks this week. In 5th place, in alphabetical order, we have these 14 channels. All 14 had 9 out of 12 correct for 75%. In 4th place are KennyOkoyeMMA and LucasTracyMMA. They both had 8 out of their 10 predictions correct for an 80% correct pick percentage. In 3rd place we have the MMADataGuy, Tyrell from the Running Mouth MMA show and Sportsbook Killaz. All 3 of them had 9 out of 11 predictions correct for 81.8%. In 2nd place is Slim MMA with 10 out of 12 correct for 83.3%. And the channel with the highest correct pick percentage this week is The Ice Files. He made 8 predictions and 7 of them were correct for 87.5%. So congratulations to all of these channels for having the highest correct pick percentage this week. Links of these channels can be found in the video description. And here is the overview of all channels with the correct picks, their total picks and the correct pick percentage, including channels that made less than 6 predictions. For the most profitable and unprofitable predictors this week, we will only track channels that made picks on at least 50% of all the fights, which is 6 for this card. Every pick counts, regardless of confidence level or odds preference. We place a $100 bet on each pick to win their fight, aka the money line. We calculate the results using the odds from the tail of the tape. The rankings are based on the return on investment percentage. At number 10 for most unprofitable predictor this week we have the Finch chats. He made 12 predictions and lost $360 for a minus 30% return on investment. At number 9 are Double Vision MMA 365 and Tiger Bomb MMA. They both made the exact same 11 predictions for also a return on investment of minus 30%. Their return on investment was 0.02% higher than the Finch chats, but when you round it up or down it goes to 30% for all 3 of them. At number 8 we have Sansu Tips with a return on investment of minus 35% on his 8 predictions. This section of violence is in 7th place with a return on investment of minus 35.5%. In 6th place are Richard's picks and Shy Got picks. They both made the exact same 12 predictions for a return on investment of minus 36.2%. In 5th place for most unprofitable predictor this week we have Coach from Premium Picks with a loss of $443 and a return on investment of minus 40.2% over his 11 predictions. In 4th place is the UF Consultant with a loss of $451 over his 11 predictions for minus 41%. In 3rd place is Paul from the Dogger Pass podcast. He made 11 predictions and had a return on investment of minus 45.8%. In 2nd place is Raybox from Bros Talk MMA with a loss of $559 over his 12 predictions for a return on investment percentage of minus 46.6%. And in 1st place this week for the most unprofitable predictor we have Fresh Start MMA. If you had followed all of his picks and placed a $100 bet for the outcome of the fight, you could have lost $709 for a return on investment of minus 59.1%. Which channels had the highest return on investment percentage and were the most profitable this week? At number 10 we have MMA Experts. If you had followed all of his 12 predictions on each pick to win their fight, you could have won $236 for a 19.7% return on investment. With a tiny bit higher ROI percentage, we have KennyOkoyeMMA in 9th place with a 19.7% return on investment over his 10 predictions. Brandan from the Santino DeFranco podcast is 8th this week with a return on investment of 20% over his 11 predictions. Utica from Bros Talk MMA is in 7th place with a return on investment of 20.1% over his 12 predictions. And at number 6 for most profitable predictor we have LucasTracyMMA with a profit of $207 over his 10 picks for a 20.7% return on investment. At number 5 is the Fiend forecast with a profit of $257 and a return on investment of 21.4% over his 12 picks. And Kunath is in 4th place with a profit of $272 and a return on investment of 22.7%. And in 3rd place we have Tyrell from the Running Mouth MMA show. He made 11 predictions and if you followed all of them and placed a $100 bet on each of his picks, you could have won $337 for a return on investment of 30.6%. In 2nd place is Slim MMA with a profit of $378 over his 12 predictions for a return on investment of 31.5%. And in 1st place this week for the most profitable predictor is the Ice Files. He made picks on 8 fights and if you had placed a $100 bet on each of his picks, you could have won $270 for a return on investment of 33.7%. So congratulations to all of these 10 channels that were the most profitable predictors this week in return on investment percentage. Links to all of these channels can be found in the video description. And here is the overview of all 100 channels that I've tracked this week, including those that made less than 6 picks, with their channel name, their money won or lost and the return on investment percentage. For the last part, we will look at which channels are on the longest losing and winning streaks over the past events. In alphabetical order, we have these 16 channels that are on a 3-week losing streak. Out of those 16 channels, these 6 are on a 4-week losing streak. And out of those 6, DFS by the numbers, Paul from the Dogger Pass podcast, Giuliano Argentini MMA and Tiger Bomb MMA are on a 5-week losing streak. And DFS by the numbers, Giuliano Argentini MMA and Tiger Bomb MMA are, unfortunately for them, on a 6-week losing streak. But it doesn't stop there. All 3 of them are also on a 7-week losing streak. Which channels are on the longest winning streak? In alphabetical order, we have these 11 channels that are on a 2-week winning streak. And out of those 11, only Coty MMA, Funky Bunch MMA, MMA Experts and Tyrell from the Running Mouth MMA show have a 3-week winning streak. And out of those 4, only MMA Experts and Tyrell from the Running Mouth MMA show are on a 4-week winning streak. But MMA Experts' profit over those 4 weeks is more than double than that of Tyrell. Unfortunately, none of them have a 5-week winning streak. Hope you enjoyed the results for this week's UFC Fight Night. If you did, then don't forget to like or subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. Later this week I will release the 9 months results video, where we will find out which channels had the most and least correct picks over that period and which ones were the most profitable or unprofitable. And also who were the best predictors on favorite or underdog fighters. So stay tuned for that, have a great week, thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.